All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin's short earlier today. If we come here on the 6 hour chart, we see that we had a very nice 6 hour order block with imbalance. And this order block did something a little special. It actually made a very nice expansion leg to the downside that we had from the SFP of yesterday of the Model 1 Wyckoff distribution. So this was a point of interest that I had marked out on my chart early this morning, waiting to see if it would get hit. And if we go here on the 15-minute time frame, the first thing I do is check to see where our current range is. And our current range was from this high down to the low put in yesterday or late last night, rather. I did miss this beautiful long from the VWAP earlier at the 9:30 New York Open. Unfortunately, that would have been another nice trade. Had some great confluence on that trade, but I did not get that one. So I was extra excited about this short since I missed that. So once we draw our range, we identify it and we chart it. We see that we have the golden pocket and the entire golden zone that resides in the same area as this 6 hour order block. And we are still dealing with this daily level right here that we were dealing with yesterday. So we knew that this was going to give it some hell, as it did earlier and yesterday. So when price came up, I saw this first hit into the golden pocket. And I was like, yeah, this is not going to hold. Number one, I hardly ever, very, very rarely take a trade on the first tap of anything. It's suicide. I don't do it. So I was going to hold off and see what we had in store after that point. I did not have any confirmation, whether it be from market structure or order flow or anything telling me that, hey, this was a good area to short. And we had some demand left down right here that I was looking for a long back up into the supply zone. However, I did miss that the long because I was concentrating on more of the data for the short, and I was actually scalping the ES at the time as well. So I had an alarm set right here, and the alarm went off and alerted me to come back to this chart and check out what was going on. So once I saw we front ran the 6 hour order block, which now leads us to think, okay, what does that mean? That means we have liquidity sitting from the premature shorts. So now we have inducement on this order block. Check mark, check mark, check mark. That gives us the confluence we want. One, we have a 6 hour order block. Two, we have liquidity, the inducement on the order block. And we have our golden zone, right? All at the same area, as well as this daily. So we knew that we were coming into a lot of resistance. So I came down on the 2 minute time frame at that point, and I was like, great. I'm liking what we are seeing at this point now. We came up to into the order block. We made a quick move in and out, and I was waiting for the confirmations. I come over here to order flow, and I see, wow, we are creating a very, very large bearish divergence. The the angle or the steepness of this divergence is very great. Not only did we have a divergence on CVD, but we also had a divergence on open interest. So we could tell that we were getting some exhaustion at this point here. So I came back over here and noticed that we were making another plunge towards the high. And I was like, this is another perfect setup very similar to yesterday's. As you will find out if you pay attention every single day to the markets, you will see patterns reoccurring over and over and over again. So what do we have here? We had an SFP of this high right here. Let's mark that out because it is important. This high. We also had an SFP of this high, and on a more local time frame, we SFP'd this high. So it was a triple swing failure pattern. So as soon as I saw that, as well as this absorption, I knew that I wanted to get into this trade on this 6-hour order block. So as soon as we broke this internal low, I pulled the trigger and I got into the short right here at 85, 172, put my stop loss at the high, and then I actually aimed for the VWAP. And so I had a take profit here at the previous month open, as well as the VWAP. But unfortunately, I did miss out on some of the extra move past all that. And I should have kept a runner open down here. But however, it was still an amazing trade, around a 3R trade in about 10 minutes. So that was today's long trade. And it was a very, very easy catch. It had a ton of confluence to it, and it had a ton of power behind the move. And the triple SFP really just brought it home for me. And as soon as we broke these lows here and took this liquidity, we hit the 0.5 of this range, which is this horizontal gray line, and we kicked back up into the PDEQ, but could not close above the PDEQ. So once we broke these lows, I then moved my stop loss into profit. And at that point, it was a free trade. However, just a few minutes later, it was tumbling down like a waterfall. So again, very easy, very aggressive trade, but a conservative entry with tons of confluence.